Marcus, I see that you are president of Eastside Toastmasters. I'd like to welcome you to tell us a little bit more about yourself and about what strategy works best in your club for building and retaining the membership.
Thank you, Ms. Pullman. My name is Marcus Phillips, as she stated, and I am president of 6500 Eastside Toastmasters, as well as Top of the Town Advance. Today, I'm speaking on behalf of 6500 Toastmasters. When I received the call, honestly, I was shocked that they said that our membership had shined in the district. And I was shocked because when I gave it some thought, our club, we really didn't do anything spectacular or anything out of the ordinary. So I contacted my VPE and let her know of the situation. So after I talked to the VP, I sat down and thought about what did we do as a club, and we simply just followed the Toastmasters protocol, starting with the guest request. Whenever we receive a guest request through the free toast host and what have you, we always made it a priority to contact that individual in immediate fashion. And also, when you do contact that person, make it personal. So if Harry was interested in your club, good morning, Harry. Thanks for inquiring about our club. Tell them something about your club. Give them the information. Make it personal. People like it when it's personal and you truly have that connection. Honestly, and I've had some people come through our club and say that they showed up because we were the only club that responded. So making sure that you respond in immediate fashion, and once you get that future Toastmaster into your club meeting, you want to make sure that you acknowledge them, give them an opportunity to participate in table topics, give them that feel, and also let them give an interpretation, because what they say matters. We need to know what the guest says. And number two was open house. All these things I'm saying, you know this. We deliver an open house at least 3 times a year. And in that open house, we don't do the normal meeting. You want to make sure that you change it up, or as they say, tweak it, and just have some fun and just give these visitors the best experience that you possibly can. And the final and last is everybody. This is across the board, and that is presenting a good meeting. When that visitor comes to your club meeting, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person, or it's hybrid, the most important factor that they're looking for is the presentation, because at that time, they're paying attention literally with their time and their energy. So therefore, you want to make sure that you put on the best presentation possible during that open house. And just 2 quick points: making sure you contact MIA members, and also just keeping that energy up in your club. And Ms. Pullman, that's what 6500 did, and it worked somehow.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. I can tell, Marcus, that you are that guy who brings the energy, and that was my very first impression of you back in 2016. Saw you right when I joined Toastmasters, and you could be one of the many reasons that I stayed.
Thank you.
Next, I'm going to ask Lauren Dill. Lauren, I think you are former president of Westlake Toastmasters, but currently the VPM. Can you tell us a little bit about what strategies you've taken to really build and retain the membership in your club?
Hello, Wendy. Actually, I'm the secretary of the club at this point. Last spring, I was the president. And I'll just tell you the situation we had, what we tried to do, what we did, and the results. Okay, last spring, our Westlake Toastmasters was down to 10 members after after the renewal. Okay, we had 20 at the beginning of the Toastmaster year, but people had job changes, were moving, it was just wild. People were leaving, not because the club was bad at all, it's just that they had new priorities or whatever. And so we were down to 10 members, and on top of that, our VP of Education, he is a professional singer, okay, and for 2 years of the pandemic, he didn't have much work, but now he was, really he was preparing to go on to an Alaskan tour, a professional tour. Our VP of Membership was an accountant, okay, and here it's April and it's tax season, so he was overwhelmed at work. What else do we have going on? We had a lot of people. We had, several of the members wanted to start a local meeting for a hybrid, have a hybrid meeting. And so that was a priority because some of our members had left the pandemic because they didn't like Zoom. And then on top of that, the club had been President's Distinguished for 4 years in a row, and I was president. I didn't want that run to stop. So that was the situation. So what did we do? Well, to cover for the VP of Membership and Education, the officers worked as a team, okay, to cover their responsibilities because there's nothing else we could do. Let's see, what else did we do? Well, we decided to start a hybrid format because we wanted to recoup some members who had left because they didn't like Zoom. Okay, so, but there was a problem there because half of the membership had moved out of Cleveland, including myself, the president. I can't attend a local meeting. I can't go back to Porter Library. So, we needed somebody local who was going to take up that part of the process. Somebody has to actually be there locally to start a local meeting or start the local portion of the hybrid meeting. So we decided to recruit a former president of the club who is extremely talented. He's still living there in Cleveland, so he could pick up on the actual mechanical part, the physical part of starting the local meeting. We had an AV expert help us out on the first meeting to help us with the setup. And then we started recruiting. Our main recruiting effort was to former members who had been active for a long period of time. That was where we focused because people leave for various reasons, and sometimes those reasons change, like work or whatever. And so we focused our recruiting efforts towards them. Say, hey, we're starting this local meeting, a local portion of starting a hybrid meeting. I'm not sure how to refer to this, so that worked pretty well. We did get our 10. Moving on to the results, we got our 10 members by June 30th. And also we got our 11th.
In 2019. So it's good to hear that we're pioneering new ways. We're getting more into the hybrid and seeing more clubs be successful with that, are things that we can all take back and take notes on so that hopefully we will get there ourselves. Our next panelist is Lindsay Cass. She is a member of the Cuyahoga Falls Club, and we asked her here today to come and talk a little bit about the Cuyahoga Falls Club and how they are maintaining and attracting new members.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning. Can everybody hear me okay, first of all? I'm broadcasting from a different place today. It's very bizarre. I'm going to actually go about this a little differently. I'm going to look at this from a different angle because there's something specific I want to point out. Now, the question of the day is, how do we build up and maintain membership in our clubs? And I'm not convinced there's one singular answer to this problem. And I don't think there's one singular way to get to the solution to this problem. I think it has to be a team effort in the club between the presidents and the executive committees and also our area directors. I think they can be a useful tool as well. This Toastmaster year is my maiden voyage. It's my inaugural endeavor into being a president or having an office at all. So while I'm representing Cuyahoga Falls today, I think it's pretty beneficial that I also speak to you through the eyes and experience of VP membership. That's also an important role that I think we can utilize to help the issue of low roster numbers. Now, I was extremely fortunate to have been handed down a President's Distinguished Club with an already healthy membership base. So starting a club from scratch wasn't really an issue that I had to address immediately. But I can say that good old-fashioned word of mouth has been an extreme blessing to our club to get new guests and members to come join us. We operate virtually every week. We do maintain a smaller digital footprint through our website and through social media. And I mention this because I feel you have to admit the digital age brings along with it some disconnect and isolation. And some people like that, and that's okay. But there are people that, I mean, you can go to work, get groceries, and eat Taco Bell for dinner and never leave the comfort of your little bubble. But I feel like the one trait that our club displays that kind of counteracts that is we show this immediate connection to our guests. And I've experienced it for myself when I was joining and I was kind of trying it out, seeing how things were. Our members engage guests exuberantly and engage with them in a way you'd almost see two friends picking up where they left off after not seeing each other for a while. It's very disarming and very respectful. And I think that is what helps when people want to meet in person, but you can't for whatever reason. So hybrid and online meetings, I think if you give them that connection, that acceptance, I think that helps a great deal. And I've experienced that as VP membership. So, and I just said so. When I did VP membership, I got so much more reciprocal and engagement conversation when I would speak to them as a pal, just as Marcus pointed out. I didn't sound like a robot when I engaged them. I used their name. I invited them to participate in table topics, and I reinforced the fact that we're not going to be mean to you if that's not something you're comfortable doing. It's okay to sit and watch, and that's fine. I also addressed the membership or the mentorship that they'll receive, that they're not going to be doing this on their own, because I know a lot of people, they don't like speaking in public. So if you not coddle them, but walk beside them in their journey, you might get more people to be more interested. And lastly, I would follow up with them. Even as president, there were some guests that I hadn't seen for a while. I would email them, and it happened that a couple of them joined. They were just on vacation somewhere. And I think that the little actions that we do reinforce this connection and acceptance, and I think that is something that has benefited our club a great deal. So little acts that we can do, but your words are very powerful. And you can heal a broken heart and you can start wars with your words. So why not speak highly of your Toastmasters Club, plant that seed in people's ears, and let that seed blossom when they see what kind of fun things that you're doing. And overall, I think today we're going to have a great time trying to fix the problem that we have today.
Absolutely. I really also like that attention to personal. And I find that making a personal connection is not just the VP of membership or the president, it's every person. And whenever I see somebody new coming to a club, I try to reach out and just be that welcoming person, because that's why they're there. Well, one of the reasons why they're there, but to me, that's the biggest, the personal connections that we foster through Toastmasters. My next panelist will be Judy Edwards. I've only had the pleasure of meeting Judy recently, but wow, she really was a hook for me to stay a member in a particular club, because just meeting her really filled my heart up. So Judy, tell me what strategies you would use to sustain and grow your club membership.
Thank you, Wendy. Let's have a moment of silence for the demise of the Hall of Fame Advance Club. How did the demise happen? We were a DTM factory. People came from far and wide before the pandemic, and they got zoomed out. Most people belong to many clubs. This one was exciting. We had a full agenda, lots of speeches, lots of advanced projects going on. Poof. What happened? How many of you, and I probably can't see the reaction, know what the two-person rule is? I saw one nod. The two-person rule was part of our demise. Key people who had administrative rights floated away, and the ones left took 8 months to get the bank account back. We never did really get Free Toast host going, so if somebody tried to contact us, we couldn't respond. I have been locked out of Free Toast host almost forever. So when you have clunky, stodgy processes, the grassroots can't fix those. Let me name a couple, because some of you are in power positions where you can do something. One stodgy process, when I transferred to the Central Advance Club and met Wendy, it was like I had to reapply for membership on a paper form and sign it. Well, at least I can have electronic signatures. I've been a member of Toastmasters, well, 25 years. Don't you think I'd be a known entity by now, belonging to 2 or 3 clubs every year? I am a valuable person. I'm not an officer. I'm a paying member of a bunch of clubs. So stodgy processes don't help. If you get hit with, you're going to be suspended, that's another stodgy process that just shot you in the heart, because you can't have any meetings. How are you going to grow if you can't have a meeting? So it looks like something would be done there. So you lost a club over a few stodgy processes, and it's not very welcoming for existing members to have to deal with this. Judy shows up for Zoom meetings, and I think it helped me a lot because I was teaching online for the first time and gave me lots of experience. I come for speeches, not table topics. And it seems like right now, another stodgy process. It is really hard for people to wrap their arms around projects to give speeches. It is far too hard. One of the things that we like about Zoom is we have members that were in Florida, Western Ohio. Several times we've met up with a lady from Chicago. So that was encouraging. How do you meet those people? Hybrid meetings. I come from the corporate world. I am a process maniac. Probably some other adjectives can be added there. So the processes, I think, are really important, and they've allowed to atrophy and not kept up to date with modern times. I gave a speech Saturday on sustainability, as we all belong to a lot of things that are suffering. So what are the roadblocks that are put up that inhibit us? Because I think it is really important to enhance your community every way that you possibly can. When I told Andrea that, oh, I couldn't be the host of this panel discussion, I wouldn't know anybody. Wrong. I know about 3/4 of you. After 25 years. The community is extremely important. The people who float off, you need the 2-person rule. So if they have key positions, there's a backup person for that treasury sign off. Hopefully they will get their act together where you don't need much of a treasury. I belong to the IEEE, Institute of Electronics and Electrical Engineers. They have gazillions of members all over the world.
Judy, you bring some really hard truths to things, and my professional life is as a continual improvement advocate. So I really like some of the ideas, and while we are just individuals, I do think that we have a voice, and some of your ideas can be taken to help clubs. I mean, we should all look at our clubs and say, do we have a failover mechanism? Let's learn from Judy's example with Hall of Fame as a way for us to challenge our own structures in our clubs and make sure that we won't run into that same problem. My last panelist is Sravanti Valampati. I can't tell you how many clubs she's been president of, membership of. She's actually the first person I ever heard speak in a Toastmasters meeting. And I know that she has an endless supply of creative ideas. And I tell you something else. I've never met anyone who says to every person they meet, come to my Toastmasters meeting, but Sravanti does. So Sravanti, please share some of your strategies and ideas and bring some of that creativity for how we build up our clubs.
Thank you, Wendy. Good morning, everyone. And I'm looking at my notes that I brought to this meeting and notes that I took, and saying, what else can I say that hasn't already been said? I'll piggyback. Thank you, Judy, for that message and for that strong message. I'll piggyback on what Judy said and what some of each of our panelists touched on. There is a need to be proactive, and that's really what we can do. There is absolutely a need to be proactive. There are things that we know that happen in our clubs. There are things that we know can save us. There are things that we know can build those connections, but somehow we fall short. So let's start from the right instead of the left, right? Because we already know what's not working well. Let's work backwards. And I typically speak in threes, so I have 1-3 for all of us to get started. I was thinking of energy, and I'll go back to what Lindsay said, right? Create that positive energy. Welcome. Marcus started off with that. Say hello, create connection. That's what's been missing these past 2 years, right? Create that connection. Let's all get into our clubs. Let's all make sure people come in. I know as far as strategies and tricks and tips are concerned, we can have open houses. We can, flood Facebook and LinkedIn and other social media with our advertisements. We can have special guests. We can have fun table topics. We can have themed meetings. That only brings people in. But what really helps them stay with the club and feel like they are somewhat, in some way, shape, or form, getting what they came looking for is that connection that you and I can build. So my first one is energy. Have that positive energy. Have that hopeful energy. Have that energy that will proactively address. We are all leaders here, right? We can proactively think about, I know what's not working. So let me pivot quickly and bring that energy that can help me address different strokes for different folks. That was what was ringing in my head this morning as I woke up. So the second one that I will come to after energy is flexibility. We must be flexible. Whether it is flexible in technology, whether it is flexible in how we hold our meetings, hybrid, in-person, online only, whether it is flexibility, one hybrid, one online only. Doesn't matter what that flexibility means. Flexibility in terms of mentorship. I'm addressing, I know we are up on time already, so I'm going a little fast. Flexibility in terms of how we mentor. One-on-one mentoring was huge at one time. Let's do group mentoring. Every week, every other week, once a month, let's all get together, and we are experimenting it at one community and definitely at our corporate clubs too. Group mentoring is huge. It can help all of us because we have a lot of questions that we don't know answers to, and I'm sure others do too. Let's be flexible. Let's be flexible in mentorship. Let's also be flexible in how we connect with others and help our members and leaders. One of the things that we are really missing across all Toastmasters districts is the strength in leadership benches. We don't have a strong bench of leaders. We're still short of area directors. We're still short of club leaders. Many clubs are operating with just 3 leaders. Let's proactively, we know that we have that issue, right? Let's build that strength. Our bench strength is what we need. So let's be flexible in how we empower them, how we educate them, how we support them. I look across this room and all of us have been here a long time. Let's get together. Perhaps consider reaching out to someone else. Consider developing those members and leaders. So the second one I ask of all of us to consider is flexibility, whether it's in meeting format to developing next generation leaders and everything in between. Mentorship, very important. Flexibility. And the last one I leave you with is care. Different people come looking for different things. And I go back many years, 7 years when I first probably presented, and I didn't know what else to call my presentation. I said, keep them coming back. And I talked about 3s again. People come looking for education, and that's what you and I think. The program is robust. We know how Pathways has been received. Not everyone likes it, right? Some people come looking for education. They really want a framework. They want to work the program. Let's support them differently. Some people come looking for the environment. And in today's age, I think the environment is what they're coming looking for. So let's ease them in first and then educate them. Ease them in first with that connection we were talking about. Let's consider that. And lastly, some of us come looking for enrichment, like Judy said. This was a factory of DTMs. These are literally the 3 that I said when I said keep them coming back. Enrichment. How does that enrichment happen? Maybe special projects, maybe leadership, maybe outside the district. Our district trio will welcome anyone you have to offer from your club. We are looking for enrichment, something a little more than what we've already achieved. We are all successful professionals. We are all successful family and community members. So we are looking for a little more with our club. So I'll go back and reiterate what I started with. Bring that positive energy. Let's all bring that positive energy. Let's all be flexible and adaptable. And most of all, let's care. Let's care because each person comes looking for something different, whether it's education, whether it is environment, or whether it is enrichment. I know we can do this. As far as strategies are concerned, I know we have tremendous amount of resources on TI, on District 10, within each and every one of us collectively. I think we can draw up from the collective intelligence here and move forward. And please, let's believe that we can do this. I know the 69 number is not going to stay there for long. I know it's going to go up. Back to you, Wendy.
Thank you, Shravanti. Thanks every one of you for coming and sharing your club experiences today. Another reflection I just had is that personal touch and calling people by name. I want to shamefully admit that I didn't even realize today was this club quality session. And yet Andrea called me by name. She called Judy by name. Each one of us were somebody whose name she said, and we don't tend to say no. Remember that when you look at the members in your club. If you don't have a speaker, pick somebody that you know maybe isn't all that comfortable yet, but say, would you like to speak? Because we'd really like to hear you. I think that goes a long way. And we sometimes forget because we expect everybody to do it when they want to do it. But asking somebody is really powerful.